You see Elon Musk and think you understand what he does. Tesla makes electric cars, SpaceX launches rockets. It seems simple, but what's really happening behind the scenes is far more sinister and far more lucrative than you imagine. We're not talking about an ordinary businessman with multiple companies. We're talking about someone who is deliberately building an integrated empire where each company feeds the others, where each technological advancement multiplies the value of the other parts, where each government contract strengthens his political position to secure more contracts, where media control allows him to shape the public narrative in his favor, where access to massive data feeds artificial intelligence systems that automate human work, where all of this together creates a machine of wealth and power concentration unparalleled in modern history. And the fuel for this machine? Human jobs being systematically eliminated and converted into profits. In the coming years, millions of people will lose their livelihoods while Musk sees his wealth multiply exponentially. And the most disturbing part is that all of this was meticulously planned. Every move, every acquisition, every company, every tweet, it's all part of a coordinated strategy to consolidate power and wealth on a scale that would make historical emperors look poor. Let me reveal exactly what's behind it all, how the pieces fit together, and why you should be absolutely terrified by the implications. Let's start with an overview of the structure. Musk controls or has significant stakes in 6 major entities: Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, the Boring Company, X, formerly known as Twitter, and xAI, his artificial intelligence company. At first glance, they seem like separate companies in different industries, but when you look closer, you see that they are pieces of an integrated machine. Tesla is not just a car manufacturer. It's an AI company developing autonomous driving systems that will be fundamental to transportation automation. It's an energy company with batteries and solar panels. It's a robotics company developing humanoids. It's a data platform collecting information on the movement patterns of millions. SpaceX is not just a space company, it's a communications company with Starlink providing global internet. It's a military contractor with launches for the Department of Defense. It's critical infrastructure that gives Musk power over governments. X is not just a social network. It's a narrative control platform where Musk can shape public discourse. It's a source of data on human behavior feeding AI systems. It's a political tool to amplify allies and silence critics. xAI is not just an AI company among many. It is directly linked to Musk's other companies, training on the data they collect and developing the technologies they will use. And here's the crucial part that almost no one connects. These companies don't just compete in their markets. They create a closed ecosystem where Musk controls multiple layers of critical infrastructure. Tesla collects driving data that feeds xAI, which develops better autonomous systems that make Teslas more valuable. SpaceX provides connectivity through Starlink, allowing Tesla vehicles to operate as robotaxis in areas without terrestrial infrastructure. X provides a platform for direct marketing of Tesla and SpaceX products while shaping public opinion on regulations affecting these companies. Neuralink, if it works, could create a brain-computer interface that integrates humans more directly with their systems, making them even more dependent on the Musk ecosystem. It's simultaneous vertical and horizontal integration on a scale never before attempted. And what allows this integration to generate massive profits while eliminating jobs? AI-driven automation, fueled by data that their own companies collect. Let's follow the flow. Millions of Teslas on the road are constantly collecting data. Every mile driven, every interaction, every decision the driving system makes or human driver corrects, everything is a data point. This data flows to servers where xAI processes it. Machine learning algorithms identify patterns, improve decision-making, refine autonomous systems. Improved systems are deployed back into Tesla fleets through over-the-air updates. autonomous driving capability improves. This increases the value of each Tesla, but it also means that eventually Teslas can operate without human drivers. And when they can, transportation companies buy Tesla fleets instead of employing drivers. Millions of driver jobs disappear. Salaries that would go to those drivers now go to transportation company profits and payments to Tesla for the vehicles and services. But it goes far beyond cars. Tesla is developing Optimus, a humanoid robot. The same AI infrastructure, the same capacity to process massive amounts of data, the same algorithms that make cars drive themselves, are being applied to make robots perform physical labor. And the market for this is much larger than the car market. All manual labor in warehouses, factories, retail, hospitality, cleaning, construction, agriculture is potentially automatable by humanoid robots. We are talking about hundreds of millions of jobs globally. And if Tesla manages to make Optimus work even reasonably well, if it manages to produce it at scale with a competitive cost, it will capture a huge share of this market. Each robot sold replaces a human worker. Each worker replaced is salary converted into profit for the company that bought the robot and payment for Tesla. And Musk, as the largest shareholder, captures a massive percentage of that value. Now let's talk about SpaceX and Starlink, because this part is particularly clever and dangerous. SpaceX started as a company that wanted to make space travel cheaper. It succeeded through reusable rockets. That's already impressive. But what really matters is Starlink. Starlink is a constellation of thousands of satellites providing high-speed internet globally. The obvious value is providing internet to areas without terrestrial coverage. But the strategic value is much greater. First, control over global communication infrastructure gives immense geopolitical power. Governments depend on connectivity. Militaries depend on it. Companies depend on it. If Musk controls this infrastructure, he has leverage over all of them. We saw this in the Ukraine war, where Starlink was crucial and Musk had the power to decide how it would be used. Second, Starlink generates massive amounts of data on internet usage, communication patterns, and device movements. This data feeds AI systems. Third, Starlink is critical infrastructure for the operation of autonomous vehicles and robots in areas without reliable cellular coverage. So SpaceX is not just a profitable space company, it's infrastructure that increases the value and viability of all of Musk's other companies. SpaceX has massive contracts with NASA, the Department of Defense, and government agencies around the world. These contracts aren't just lucrative. They give Musk access to resources, technologies, and information that he can leverage for commercial purposes. They create dependency where governments need SpaceX more than SpaceX needs them. And this dependency translates into political power. Musk can influence space policy, telecommunications policy, and the regulation of technologies that affect his other companies. He can do this not only through traditional lobbying, but through real leverage of being indispensable to national security interests. Now X, formerly Twitter. Musk bought Twitter for $44 billion. Many thought it was a mistake, that he overpaid, that he would lose money. But viewed through the lens of an integrated empire, the purchase makes perfect sense. X doesn't need to be profitable as a standalone company. It needs to be a tool that increases the value of other parts of the empire. And it does this in multiple ways. First, narrative control. Musk can use X to promote his products, his ideas, his companies. He can amplify voices that support his positions. He can suppress or discredit critics through algorithms that control what people see. This is not a conspiracy theory. We have already seen multiple examples of Musk changing the functioning of algorithms to benefit his own posts, removing fact checks from critics, promoting aligned accounts. Second, data. X has data on billions of conversations, opinions, behavioral patterns. This data is gold for AI systems. They can train language models, inform marketing strategies, and identify trends before they become obvious. Third, political power. X is a platform where political discourse takes place. Controlling this platform means the ability to influence elections, public policies, and opinions on regulations affecting Musk's companies. And we've seen Musk use that power openly, promoting politicians who favor his interests, attacking regulators who try to limit his companies, shaping the narrative about artificial intelligence, electric vehicles, space exploration. He's not just participating in the public debate. He's controlling the very infrastructure where the debate takes place. It's unprecedented power for an individual billionaire to have. XAI is probably the most important piece in the long term. Musk founded XAI supposedly because he was concerned about the direction of OpenAI, a company he co-founded but left. But the real reason is more strategic. He needs an AI company that is fully controlled by him and integrated with the rest of his empire. XAI has access to data from Tesla, SpaceX, and X. It can train models with a volume and variety of data that competitors don't have. It can develop AI applications specifically designed to optimize the operations of other Musk companies. And it can sell or license these technologies externally, creating another massive revenue stream. But more importantly, control over cutting-edge AI means control over the tool that will determine which jobs exist and which don't in the coming years. It means the power to decide, directly or indirectly, the economic future of millions. Now, let's connect all the dots and show how this translates into massive profits at the expense of jobs. First sector, transportation. Tesla develops autonomous vehicles using existing fleet data processed by XAI. When autonomy is achieved, transportation companies buy Teslas and lay off drivers. 3.5 million truck drivers in the United States lose their jobs. Another million taxi and Uber drivers, 700,000 bus drivers, hundreds of thousands of delivery drivers. Their salaries, which totaled hundreds of billions annually, are redirected to the profits of transportation companies and payments to Tesla. Musk captures a significant percentage of this through his stake in Tesla. Second sector, manufacturing and logistics. Optimus robots are beginning to replace workers in warehouses, factories, and distribution centers. Amazon, Walmart, and global manufacturers are buying thousands, then millions of robots. Each robot replaces one or more workers. Wages saved go to profits and payments to Tesla for the robots. We are talking about potentially 100 million jobs globally in manufacturing and logistics. Even if Optimus captures only 10% of this market, that's 10 million jobs converted into revenue streams for Tesla. Third sector, services. Humanoid robots are starting to enter retail, fast food, cleaning, and hospitality. Cashiers are being replaced, cleaners are being replaced, kitchen workers are being replaced. Again, saved wages flow into corporate profits and payments to robot suppliers. Hundreds of millions more jobs globally vulnerable. Fourth sector, knowledge work. XAI develops systems that automate accounting, data analysis, basic programming, writing, design, and even aspects of medicine and law. Companies license this technology and reduce their white-collar workforce. Savings in wages, which are generally higher than manual labor, are massive, and a percentage flows to XAI as licensing fees. Now add it all up. Hundreds of millions of jobs being eliminated or reduced over 10 to 20 years. Trillions of dollars in wages being converted into corporate profits and payments to automation technology suppliers. And Musk is positioned across multiple layers of this value chain. He provides autonomous vehicles, he provides robots, he provides AI systems, he provides data and communication infrastructure. He captures value at every step, from every sector, from every company he automates. He is a wealth transfer machine operating on a global scale, siphoning value from workers and concentrating it in the hands of one man and a small group of shareholders. And here's the part that should really scare you. Musk has the political power to protect and expand this machine. Through control of X, he can shape public opinion about automation, making it seem inevitable and beneficial. Through SpaceX's government contracts, he has leverage over politicians. Through massive wealth, he can fund campaigns, hire lobbyists, and influence legislation. Through popularity cultivated among certain segments, he has popular support that makes it difficult for politicians to act against his interests, even when they should. We've seen this in action repeatedly. When regulators tried to question Tesla's practices, Musk mobilized fans through X to attack regulators. When governments proposed taxes on electric vehicles or robots, he argued it would kill innovation and threatened to move operations. When unions tried to organize Tesla workers, he fiercely resisted and used legal and illegal tactics to prevent it. He's not just playing the game. He's rewriting the rules in his favor. And there's more. Musk isn't just profiting from automation. He's structuring the future in a way that ensures continuous dependence on his technologies and infrastructure. When you depend on Starlink for internet, Tesla for transportation, XAI for information processing, X for communication, you're trapped in an ecosystem he controls. And control over an ecosystem means the ability to continuously extract value. It's not just profit from a single sale. It's a perpetual revenue stream from subscriptions, services, data, every time any part of the system is used. This is fundamentally different from how historical capitalists operated. They controlled the means of production in specific industries. Musk is building control over multiple layers of critical infrastructure simultaneously. He controls transportation through Tesla. He controls communication through X and Starlink. He controls computing through XAI. He controls access to space through SpaceX. It's a convergence of economic, political, informational, and infrastructural power on an unprecedented scale. And he's using that power to systematically eliminate the need for human labor while capturing all the value that human labor used to generate. Workers who lose their jobs, they are not a failure of the system from Musk's perspective. They are a cost to be eliminated. Every human replaced is efficiency gained, profit margin expanded, shareholder value increased. And when you have so much power, when you control so many levers, when you can shape public narrative, influence government, you don't need to worry about social consequences, because you can isolate yourself from them, live in a bubble of absolute abundance while the world around you burns. And perhaps the darkest aspect of all this, Musk is doing this openly and being celebrated for it. He has a cult of personality where millions see him as a visionary, as the savior of humanity, as a genius who is leading humankind to the stars. They defend his actions, justify his failures, and attack his critics. He has managed to build a support base that allows him to essentially do whatever he wants without real accountability. And he is using this support to consolidate more power, which he uses to generate more wealth, which he uses to build more support. It's a self-reinforcing cycle that becomes harder to break the longer it operates. The warning signs are all there. Extreme concentration of power, massive job elimination, capture of regulatory agencies, control over critical infrastructure, shaping of public narrative, resistance to accountability. Any one of these in isolation would be worrying. All together in one person is profoundly dangerous. But most people don't see it because they've been convinced that Musk is a hero, that his companies are about human progress, that critics are just envious or Luddites who want to stifle innovation. The reality is that Musk will profit like never before because he built a perfect system to convert human labor into personal profit. Millions will lose their jobs because that's precisely the point. not an unfortunate side effect. And what's behind it is calculated, strategic, and fundamentally exploitative. It's the appropriation of value created by an entire society, by public infrastructure, by the work of millions, concentrated in the hands of one individual through a legal and economic structure that allows it. If you've gotten this far and are feeling anger or fear, those are appropriate responses. You should be furious that the future is being structured in a way that benefits one man at the expense of millions. You should be terrified by the unprecedented concentration of power. You should be questioning why we allow this, why there are no real checks and balances, why the system is so fundamentally broken that it can produce this outcome. But anger and fear alone change nothing. They need to be transformed into organized action. There needs to be massive demand for change. Real taxation of extreme wealth, real regulation of automation that protects workers, democratization of ownership of critical technologies, limits on the concentration of power, enforced transparency on the use of data and algorithms, real accountability when power is abused. None of this will come easily. None of this will come without a fight, because those who benefit from the current system will use every massive resource they have to protect it. But the alternative is to accept a future where Musk and a small group of tech billionaires control everything that matters, while the rest of humanity lives in subsistence, dependent on crumbs that the elite choose to distribute. It is to accept the permanent elimination of economic and political agency for the majority. It is to accept a caste society where birth determines everything and mobility is impossible. This is not the future that any rational person should want. What lies behind Musk's profits and the unemployment of millions is a meticulously constructed power system, operating in multiple dimensions simultaneously, protected by massive wealth and political influence, celebrated by a carefully cultivated personality cult, and fundamentally predatory in nature. And it is operating now, accelerating, consolidating. Every day that passes without resistance is a day closer to the point where resistance becomes impossible, because power will be so consolidated that it cannot be challenged. You've been warned about what's behind this. Now choose, accept it passively or resist actively, because inaction is a choice, and it's a choice for the future Musk is building,